Pasco School Board of Directors. We preceded this meeting with our study session from 4:30 to 5:30, with which Mr. Jake Stickle led, around our long-term facilities management plan. We had a lot of data presented to us from experts from Eastern Washington University, as well as community feedback on our on the survey that went out about a long-term facilities management plan. So we encourage you to watch that video on our YouTube channel if you didn't have the opportunity to attend that. So with that being said, I will call this regular board meeting of the Pasco School Board of Directors to order. And as a somewhat of a farewell to our student board representatives, they are going to lead us in our flag salute tonight.
Please stand.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I said somewhat of a farewell because their official farewell is coming later and on the agenda. So let's go ahead and go to the next item on our agenda, which is the roll call. Ms. Richardson, may we have a roll call, please?
Amanda Brown.
Present.
John Kennedy.
present.
Steve Dorber.
Present.
Steve Simmons.
Present.
Owen Roach.
Present.
Nancy Bird.
Present.
Dan Farina.
Present.
Amy Phillips.
Excused. Thank you, Ms. Richardson. The next item on our agenda is the approval of our regular board meeting minutes from May 27th, 2025. I would entertain a motion.
Board President Brown, I make a motion to approve the minutes of our regular board meeting, May 27th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our regular board meeting minutes from May 27th, 2025. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will vote on this by voice. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And going on to the next item on our agenda, we have our agenda review. Superintendent Whitney.
There are no additions or changes to tonight's agenda, and we are not requesting an executive session.
Thank you. Next, and I believe this is why we have a lot of people in the boardroom tonight, we have a special recognition for our Pink Awards. And so Mrs. Tensmeyer is going to lead us in that agenda item.
Good evening, Board President Brown, Superintendent Whitney, and members of the board. I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint. Okay, tonight we are proud to present 10 Partners in Kindness Awards, also known as Pink Awards, to some of our outstanding community partners who support Pasco schools. The Pink Award honors community members who contribute more than $1,000 in goods, services, or financial support to benefit Pasco students and staff. As I call your name, please come join us. We'll just kind of make an arch around, starting with me. So we're going to start with the Pasco Police Department and Franklin County Sheriff's Office. Please welcome Sergeant Ronald Selton, Pasco Police, and Under Sheriff Monty Huber, Franklin County Sheriff's Office. We are proud to present these two agencies with a Pink Award. Since 2015, they have led the Cops and Kids event at Walmart, where one student per school shops for holiday gifts with a law enforcement officer. This year, 24 students each received $300 to spend, a $50 gift from Santa, and a holiday food box coordinated through Sue's Turkey Drive, bringing joy and building positive relationships. This estimated in-kind value was $8,400. From People for People, please welcome Joyce Newsom, 211 and Mobility Outreach Manager. Through the Simply Serving Transportation Project, People for People provided transit passes to Pasco families facing barriers. As of March 2025, 35 families use these passes to attend ESL classes, job interviews, medical appointments, school events, and more. This impactful support is valued at $2,825. From Central Church and Martha's Cupboards Ministry, please welcome Jondra Franklin, Director of Martha's Cupboard. Martha's Cupboard has been a source of dignity and care since 2002, donating hygiene and baby care bags to Pasco families in crisis. This year alone, 214 bags have been distributed by student support staff with an estimated value of $5,662. From Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, please welcome Maria Roman, Administrative Coordinator, and Holly Patterson, Community Affairs Consultant. PNNL's warm-up for winter drive provided socks, gloves, undergarments, and hats to Pasco students in need. This year's donation, valued at $1,116, helped ensure our students stayed warm and cared for during the winter months. From First Lutheran Church of Pasco, please welcome Jenny Rickman, Pasco High teacher and church member, Diane Mendoza and Sue Worley, PSD retired teachers, Pastor Kathleen Anderson and church member Kathy Schoof. For over a decade, First Lutheran Church has donated new shoes for Pasco students. This year, 182 pairs of shoes and numerous boxes of cereal were donated to support students and families during the summer gap. Their contribution totaled $2,351 in support. Now from the Pasco Chamber of Commerce, please welcome Colin Hastings, Executive Director, and Kelly McGrath, Project Director. The Pasco Chamber donated school supplies valued at $2,809, ensuring students were prepared and confident at the start of the school year. This act of generosity directly supports learning and academic success. Now from Grocery Outlet, please welcome Charles Grimm, Pasco store owner. Grocery Outlet has provided essential support to McLaughlin Middle School, funding staff meals, student incentives, and donations to the Panther store, and supported Angelo Elementary's 20th anniversary celebration. Their total contribution is over $2,500. And from Fiesta Foods, we thank Sam Barraza, store manager, who could not join us tonight, but they donated $20,000 in scholarships and $2,500 to music programs and supported family events. And from Noble HVAC, please welcome Ariane Biglin. And she could not join us tonight, but they generously donated, sorry Gracie, they generously donated $1,000 to Mark Twain Elementary, funding a tradition of providing every student with a Wildcat t-shirt. So if we can have everyone come together, and board members and Superintendent Whitney, so we can get a group picture. Good job. Good job, Mila. Okay, please join me in giving them a round of applause. Eli, can you turn this up? The projector. Is it on?
An enormous thank you to all of our Pink Awards recipients tonight. Thank you so much for your contributions to our schools and our students and student achievement. Although the plaques are a commemoration of your contributions, believe me when I say that we are very, very, very grateful. Thank you so much for being here tonight to allow us to recognize you.
That's you up there.
Thank you again, everyone who attended. The next item on our agenda as the Kleenexes are passed around, is our recognition of our school year 2024-2025 student board representatives. Superintendent Whitney.
Good evening, Board President, members of the board. This is a bittersweet always evening for me. It's such a tremendous celebration of the accomplishments of our students, but then we also have to say goodbye to them. So tonight, we bid farewell to our 24-25 student board representatives, Owen Bergstrom, Danica Reyna, and Mason Bird. They are a group of remarkable young students who have positively impacted the PSD community and this superintendent personally. Owen Bergstrom was born and raised in Pasco, attended McGee Elementary, McLaughlin Middle School, and Pasco High. While at Pasco High, he was actively involved in golf, honors courses, the Latino Medical Student Association, and the Sports Medicine Program. He's also served as an active member of the Superintendent Student Action Council. This fall, Owen will attend the University of Puget Sound in Tacoma, where he plans to major in biochemistry. His favorite memory as student board representative was sharing dinner with board members before board meetings, of which we had a delicious dinner tonight and tried to figure out what the mystery white meat was. We're still not 100% sure. We think there's more analysis to be done. Danica Reyna was also born and raised in Pasco, attended McGee and Franklin Elementary, McLaughlin and Ray Reynolds Middle Schools, and Chiawana High School. At Chiawana, she was actively involved in the Sports Medicine Program, Go Green Club, Hawk Talk, and the CHS Student Summit, and the tennis team. She's also served as an active member of the Superintendent Student Action Council. This fall, Danica will study at Washington State University, where she'll be majoring in psychology. Her long-term goal includes earning a Juris Doctorate from the University of Washington or Gonzaga University, pursuing a career in international relations with the United Nations or Mexico, and eventually running for public office, starting with the House of Representatives and aspiring to become one of Washington State's U.S. senators, and perhaps one day even president. Her favorite memory as a student board representative was sharing dinners with everyone before board meetings and going bowling with the other student board reps, Mr. Levitt and Mrs. Forsyth, when we were at the WASDA conference in Spokane. Mason Bird is also a lifelong Pasco student who attended McClintock Elementary, Ray Reynolds Middle School, and Delta High School. At Delta, he's been involved in wrestling, Delta Senate, and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He's also served as an active member of the Superintendent Student Action Council. This fall, Mason will begin his senior year at Delta High School, where he plans to work as a teacher's assistant and continue exploring his interest in education. His favorite memory as a student board representative was this trip to Spokane, which he described as both fun and informative. It's always rewarding to watch our student board representatives grow from sometimes uncertain and quiet juniors or seniors to confident leaders ready to take on the world, and this year was no exception. As you heard tonight, all three of our student board reps participated in the Superintendent Student Action Council, where they made valuable contributions over the year. Their work included providing input and updates on the cell phone policy, helping refine the use of Minga, and offering feedback on our financial literacy curriculum. Congratulations to Owen, Danica, and Mason, and thank you for your service to Pasco School District. We wish you the very best in the exciting journey that you have ahead. Congratulations.
Student board reps, you will find gifts from Superintendent Whitney and the board next to you, and we invite you to open those now. We would like you to open them and look at them now. So as you begin opening, and we're going to make you do it in front of everybody, the first thing that you'll find is a sweatshirt from the schools that you'll be attending. This is, again, a gift from the board and Superintendent Whitney, because we are so proud of your achievements and we wish you the best in all of your future endeavors. Beautiful. Very nice. If you continue to open your gifts after you admire, at my house, we yell, fashion show, but I won't make you do that. Next, we have a clock with your name engraved. And this is our way of commemorating your dedicated service to the Pasco School District and celebrating your recent graduation from high school. This is a gift from the entire district, symbolizing the precious time that you invested in making a difference. And indeed, you have invested a lot of time and effort into your role here on the board. And as you continue, how beautiful. And finally, as you take out the last gift from your gifts, you will find a plaque that includes your picture and a certificate of appreciation for your exemplary contributions as a Pasco School District Student Board Representative. This is also a gift from the entire district recognizing your hard work and commitment. Again, thank you so much for your outstanding service, and congratulations, Danica and Owen, on your graduation and onto your senior year, Mason. And now I would invite our board members, our board directors, to share farewell messages with our student representatives in no particular order.
I would just like to say, first, thank you to Mason, Danica, and Owen. I think what I most appreciated about your service this year, well, first, I appreciate, of course, you wanting to serve on this board. I think public service is a noble calling, and we are all grateful for the time you gave us this past year. But I also was greatly impressed with the contributions you made to our understanding of the issues and to the public's understanding of the issues. You asked really good questions. You provided very thoughtful, insightful analysis and commentary on the issues. And I think this board director benefited greatly from your contributions. And I thank you, and the public thanks you. And I look forward to hearing about all the great things you all will achieve in the future. Thank you.
So Danica, Mason, and Owen, I just want to thank you guys for your willingness to serve on our board and your willingness to give us your insights and your ask the questions that you have asked. And you have really helped me be able to make decisions on policy that we've had. The one thing I did want to focus my comments on, so as a board, you know, we come from different backgrounds. We're different people. We have different interests. And sometimes when you get together, you know, we kind of focus on the things that are important. We don't break the, we try to break the ice. But we're different people. And what I've noticed is with our board reps, that they can have a lot to do with how the board interacts, not only with them and the other students, but also just with us as a board. This year has been very different for me. I have noticed that this group, these three, have been a very dynamic group, and we have seen, and we have absolutely had a wonderful time, especially like it was mentioned at our dinners. Just getting to, just the amount of talking, the amount of, it has been wonderful. It has been absolutely wonderful to have these three and the dynamic experience that they bring to this board. It's been wonderful. We've had other board reps and they've all been great, very good. But this group, particularly to me, has been just amazing and very fun and very entertaining, and like to hear about their lives and what's going on. And I can't wait to see what they do in their future.
Danica, Owen, and Mason, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service to your fellow students. Well done. Well done. And I just commend each one of you. I see in your future much success. I see in your future just many blessings. And so I just speak to you that keep your standards high, shoot for the stars, and never give up. Thanks for your service again.
It's kind of like I'm a teacher, so I watch students grow throughout an entire year, and it's so fun to see how much they grow. And like Superintendent Whitney was saying, it's student board reps come in with different levels of comfortableness, of contributing and speaking in public, but by the end of that year, there's just so much growth. But I'm always amazed by the professionalism that everyone already this seems to come with. The board and the district does a great job of picking our student reps every year, and this year was no exception. And so I was constantly amazed by your authentic voices and your contributions to our board this year, and I am so excited to see what the future holds for each of you, because I know that it's bright and I know that it's amazing, and that you have contributed so much to our board, and you get to go out into the world and make those contributions to them now, and we don't get to keep you to ourselves. And so congratulations, and I want to invite each of you to go ahead and give your farewell words to us tonight.
If I may, before you do that.
I am so sorry.
That's okay. I wrote each of you a personalized note in your card, so I'm not going to do that in front of everyone. But I do want to pull on the thread that Director Simmons brought, and I truly believe, and I've watched it unfold, in every group the three of you have been in, you make the people around you better. And you've elevated every conversation you've been a part of, and you've stretched every group of people, whether it was the Student Action Council, the board, legislators, other board members in Spokane. That is a truly unique gift to the three of you. So not only are each of you phenomenal individuals as individuals, the way you are together, I really truly believe is an example for all of us in the way that this work is done. And I just want to amplify that in this moment. Where I really want to turn my remarks tonight are to the parents. So I don't have children of my own, not because I didn't want them, but because I couldn't have them. And I just want to thank you for allowing me to spend time with your kids. I don't know how y'all do it, because I stand around like I'm doing this all the, like they are so incredible that they blow my mind constantly. Like if I was there, I would just be in tears all the time. Like I don't know how y'all do it. I mean, they are incredible, and incredible kids come from incredible families, and it is an honor and privilege that you've shared them with us, and particularly with me this year. So just congratulations to the families for being such amazing families. Thank you.
All right, I'll go ahead and call out the order. Mason, if you'll start us off, and then Danica, and then Owen.
I want to thank everyone on this board for allowing me to have this opportunity to grow and learn within this school year specifically. I've learned so much about how any board is ran at a higher level, and I've learned so much about how the school system works and how there's like how levels work within the school system. It feels like every single time I'm at the booth building, I learn something new, and it's been a great blessing to me to be able to be given the chance to be on the board in general, and I want to again thank all of you for giving me this opportunity.
I want to say that during my time on the board, I feel like I've definitely grown as a person, and I've grown my voice more than it was originally. I do want to thank the board as members for the time that we spent together, as it was really nice to get to know all of you besides the professional business meeting we have right now, but at dinners and when we travel to Spokane. It was really nice getting able to know all of you, your perspectives, and being able to grow as a person, being surrounded by so many distinct personalities. It was also really nice as serving on this board to be able to grow along with the two other board reps it was interesting because we could share our own perspectives with each other and with you guys. And from my perspective, I felt like I was heard and seen on this board. But more importantly, I really loved my time here because you guys made it feel like a second family. So I was always excited to come. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you guys for providing me this opportunity and this chance.
I just want to first start off by thanking all of the members of the board, other district staff, really anyone that I've got the chance to work with over this past year. It's really been a blessing to be able to meet with all these crazy smart people that have just been able to teach me so much. This position has really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and that's something that I'm extremely thankful for. Having the ability to learn past all of the, levies, bonds, budget, but to learn and grow as a person, that's something that I'm really gonna be grateful from this board. And I just wanted to say thank you to each and every person that supported me and helped me throughout this year.
One more specific shout out Jenny. I think all three of us would say you've helped us so much to know where to be, know what to do, and helped us. It feels like you coordinate everything, and I want to say thank you for helping coordinate everything that goes on within this board.
One last round of applause for our student representatives. You will be very missed. It's difficult to want to sing the praises of our student board reps all evening, but we do have the rest of our agenda. And the next item on our agenda is our audience comments, the Pasco School Board of Directors values comments from its community, staff, students, and parents. And this time is for you to address the board directly. You have 2 minutes if you wish to do so. Do we have a functioning timer tonight? Okay, and so there is a timer which Ms. Richardson has, which will begin blinking at when you have 30 seconds left, and then turn red and beep at when your 2 minutes is up. When that 30-second warning comes on, we do ask that you begin to wrap up your comments to be done by the 2 minutes. There will also be the option to give public comment after our reports, and so tonight we will have a budget hearing, of which if anyone wants to participate in that, to speak to that hearing specifically, we ask you to keep that for that time, and if you have any comments, you may also give them after the report. And also, our board policy is that we do not directly respond to public comment, and so please don't be offended if we do not respond to your comments, which we do feel strongly about a lot of things that are spoken here at board meetings, but we do not comment on them as policy dictates. So with that being said, is there anyone present in the boardroom who would like to offer public comment tonight to the board? I invite you to either come to the podium and you can wait until the person ahead of you finishes, or you can form a line, whatever works best for you. And then we will just go in as first come, first served.
Am I waiting for something on the, how do I know when to start? Oh, okay. Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Lecomte, and I'm here to speak about an issue critical to the academic success, safety, and equity of our district: fully staffed school libraries. A school library complete with a certified librarian and a dedicated clerk is a fundamental part of a successful educational environment. Librarians are certificated educators with an additional endorsement who curate relevant, diverse collections, teach research and digital literacy skills, and foster a love of reading. Clerks ensure the smooth operation of the facility, allowing librarians to focus on instruction and collection development. A well-managed library provides a supervised, safe space throughout the school day. Without adequate staffing, this valuable resource becomes inaccessible to students, underutilized, and unmanaged. One of the outrageous outcomes of the district is that all students are reading on grade level by the end of 3rd grade. At the elementary level, literacy is front and center. What happens when those elementary students transition to secondary school and suddenly find their library unstaffed or at best operating at minimal capacity? Secondary schools already have to battle social media for students' attention. Literacy doesn't stand a chance if books aren't even accessible. The absence of a librarian directly impacts student achievement, which brings up the issue of equity. Pasco High School and Stevens Middle School, two of our highest poverty, highest minority schools, will lack dedicated librarians. It sends a message that students in these communities are less deserving of essential resources. How can we expect staff at these schools to adequately support research projects, address information literacy gaps, or manage textbook distribution effectively without a trained librarian? Every student deserves equitable access to information. We must bridge the gap between our early literacy emphasis and the resources available to our secondary students, investing in fully staffed libraries at all of our schools, especially those serving our most vulnerable populations. It is an investment in academic excellence, student safety, and social justice. We need to ensure every student in our district is supported by this invaluable resource of a vibrant, professionally staffed school library. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCollum, for stating your name. I forgot to mention, if you can please state your name and your affiliation with the district before you begin your comments.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Post. I am the librarian at Virgie Robinson Elementary, and I taught ELA at Pasco High School for many years as well. And I have some statistics and information from Librarians for All in Washington State. It states that librarians in 2004, 2005 to 2008, 2009, average reading scores for poor students, Black students, and Latino students improved more than in states that lost libraries. In states that lost libraries, English language learners' scores dropped by almost 3%. I teach in a school where the majority are Spanish speakers. It's unnerving to think that they will lose academics and advancement because of a lack of librarians. Small rural districts are far less likely than large metro areas to have certified teacher librarians on staff in public schools, and the variability in quality library services across the state is significant. A 2015 Washington State study found that one key factor distinguishing high-performing, high-poverty schools from low-performing, high-poverty schools is a quality librarian program. High schools with certified teacher librarians had an average 5-year 85% graduation rate compared to 76% for high schools without certified teacher librarians. Standardized reading scores and year one math scores were significantly higher in schools with certified teacher librarians. Schools in the poorest and most racially diverse communities have the least access to library services. We do not want our district to fall into that category. Schools with no certified teacher librarians on staff are disproportionately likely to be located in counties with higher rates of economic need, as indicated by SNAP, which is basic food rates, higher unemployment rates, and higher levels of child abuse or neglect. And districts with high numbers of English language learners as a second language, students are more than twice as likely to lack librarians. Is that time? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Angie Matson. I am an elementary school librarian at Franklin. Board Superintendent Whitney, Pasco School District students deserve access to strong school librarian programs directed by qualified teacher librarians. Decades of research, as you just heard, confirms that students with strong library programs and qualified teacher librarians have better educational outcomes and are more prepared for post-secondary education. The revised Code of Washington outlines what quality means, and it specifically has a criteria. It means that a teacher librarian is a certified teacher with the library media endorsement under the rules adopted by the Professional Educational Standards Board. A school library information and technology program means a school-based program that is staffed by a certified teacher librarian, and provides a broad, flexible array of services, resources, and instruction that support the whole school. The teacher librarian's duties may include, but are not limited to collaborating in their school with providing informational and technology into the curriculum, providing management of instructional resources, helping teachers and students effectively and efficiently access high-quality information available using informational ethically, instructing students in digital citizenship on how to be critical consumers. On that, at a time where our society is becoming more and more integrated in using digital resources in every aspect of our lives, and students are spending more and more time on social media and getting more and more of their information from their community and world from online sources, now is not the time to cut the staff or programs charged with the duty to support our students in becoming critical consumers of media and being able to discern AI-generated misinformation, and becoming adept users of media resources and tools so that they are students with 21st century skills ready to enter today's rapidly changing world. I just want to close with a meeting last fall where concerned people were talking about the inequity that may happen when you re-boundary Pasco High. And this board assured families of Pasco High that that would not happen. If you do not replace a librarian at both Pasco High and one of its feeder schools, Stevens, that shows that that will have an inequity based on research. Please support school libraries. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anna Dorndorf. I am a librarian at Frost Elementary, and I'm just going to start with the role of a librarian is not simply a keeper of books, more so a chief information officer. To quote an article, Investing in School Libraries, while books certainly play a role in the school librarians ignite the spark of interest in reading with their students by making students feel included through their library collection, helping increase student reading stamina, and encouraging students to explore new genres. This is especially important because reading for pleasure has been shown to contribute to improved literacy outcomes. I am here today to discuss my concerns in the decrease of librarians and library clerks in our district. School librarians and library clerks play an essential role in our schools, but the duties of each position differ extremely and cannot be exchanged for one for the other. A librarian, especially at a secondary level, is a credentialed librarian who has the education to fully impact student achievement. A library clerk is asked to help maintain the library and support the librarian's needs. According to OSBI, a teacher librarian is a certificated teacher with their library endorsement, and their role within the library system is to collaborate with classroom teachers, support school goals such as school improvement plans, and to create a culture of learning in the school community. Common practices, of our librarians in our district includes, but not limited to, book acquisition and collection development, curriculum distribution, support of the individual schools, but also our district. Lastly, student engagement and educational information that align with the American Library Association and the Common Core standards to help prepare our students to be college ready by the time that they graduate. I'm running out of time, so I want to skip forward a little bit and just say that by not having clerks to fulfill the clerical duties that are required to run a successful library, the librarian will not be able to fulfill the expectations, laws, and regulations by the ALA and WAC. But in contrast, having a clerk solely run a school library will quickly affect the distribution of materials, acquisition of library materials, and more importantly, the impact of student learning. Thank you.
My name's Tara Childs, and I'm the librarian at McClintock Elementary. And I'm here because I'm concerned of the decrease in clerks and librarians at different schools and the equity that's involved in that and the sense of belonging that'll be lost, and taxpayer money that'll be lost as well. So libraries create a place of belonging in all levels. We have games, kids are in the library before school, they have lunch in the library. It's a quiet place for kids that need a sense of belonging. And It's just a place to fit in. So I know for me, if I didn't have an assistant, I wouldn't be able to provide those extra things for kids in the library. During the day when I don't have an assistant during first grade, I'm not able to build the relationships that I can with kids when I have my assistant there, because I'm having to do two roles of holding kids accountable for bringing books in, checking their books in, trying to get the gist of what they might have read and develop relationships with them, and also find books. And when I'm all by myself, I don't have enough me to do all that for all kids. So it definitely impacts instruction and just the relationship that you can build in a library. In a library, I believe that we focus on preparing kids for the future. The library is a system, and if you know systems, you're going to find systems anywhere. So anyways, it looks like I'm running out of time too. I feel like the power of instruction is going to be compromised if we don't have clerks in our libraries, or if we don't have librarians with clerks. We won't be able to get it all done. And without having a clerk, books won't be able to be repaired. There won't be any accountability for getting books back. And then we'll have to buy more books. So it affects our taxpayer money, plus our students and our belonging and equity in Pasco School. And the librarians are a cornerstone for gathering, and I hope that we can continue to have them in Pasco. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Judy Hatchett. I'm the librarian at Chiawana High School, which you know is the largest high school in the state until we opened Sageview. And for the past many, many years, I have had two wonderful, highly qualified clerks to help me in the library. And about a month ago, we were told there would be 0 clerks to help at Chiawana High School, a high school with a population of over 2,000 students and 125 plus teachers. You've heard so much already about how important librarians are and libraries are, and I know that Mrs. Whitby believes that. She's told us, you know, in lovely emails, and I appreciate her response. But I just need to tell you a few things. I don't know who made the decision, what committee, but they do not understand what goes on in a secondary library. There is no way, it is going to be physically impossible for one person to take care of the size of our libraries. You've seen Chiawana, it's huge and beautiful. The students, people are going to suffer. Our students are going to suffer, our staff is going to suffer. It's just not possible. It's not physically possible for me to be in 2 or 3 places at one time. I won't be able to do classes and orientation when I have a line of kids standing there waiting to not just check out books. That's not all we do. They'll be needing help with their laptops and checking out textbooks, and I'm out of time. So I please ask you to reconsider and don't cut their hours and their days, because these are people who barely, you know, they make $40,000 a year. That's not the way to balance our budget. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Maria Lee, and I am the president of the association. You've heard the logistics about the librarian positions as well as their clerks. There's a few other things that you don't know about the library. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I was a librarian for a year, and it was a wonderful experience. But what you don't understand is that the library is a safe place for many of our students who don't fit that classic mold of being an athlete or being somebody who might be musically inclined. For many of our students, it's a place where they can go. It's a place where it's quiet. It's a place where they can recenter themselves. It's a place where they know that they're safe. By taking away our librarians or our librarian clerks, you are affecting our most vulnerable students. And I always hear from Pasco, from the district, that we're never going to affect our students. We need to do what's best for our students. Taking away the clerks and increasing the workload of our librarians is not doing what's best for our students. It's probably the opposite. Think of it this way. I know for me, when I go to the dentist, I make sure my dentist is licensed. When I go to the doctor, I make sure that there's MD behind his name. You are putting our libraries at risk by asking clerks to take care of multi-million dollars worth of curriculum, as well as you're putting our students at risk having one person there to do everything for them. I'm going to urge you to reconsider the decision of reducing our librarians for Pasco High and for Stevens, as well as the clerks from any building that's effective. The last thing I want to say is the association likes to be as supportive as possible, but these kind of decisions make it very difficult to support some of the decisions that you are making. Thank you.
I wonder if you'd like to hear from me later. No? Okay. Would you prefer I come to the mic later?
You are absolutely within your rights to speak to us now.
All right. Ditto, by the way, ditto. Good evening, Superintendent Whitney, board members, staff, and guests, friends. I am Valerie Moffett. I am a proud Bulldog. My class enjoyed a 50th class reunion last year. One of their fondest memories is their experience with musical theater and putting Fiddler on the Roof on stage back in the day. Through the Pasco Education Foundation, we awarded 5 $1,000 scholarships to Pasco High graduates in May. Now, my parents taught me to never bring a problem without considering a solution. When I heard the startling news, startling to many people, that there is no longer choir at Stevens and Ochoa Middle Schools, and now Pasco High will only have 1 choir class, I realized we have a problem. So thanks to the talent and passion of former Ochoa Middle School choir director Heidi Nelson, and a partnership with Academy of Children's Theater, and encouragement from the school district, we are undertaking a musical theater after-school program to benefit these now underserved students. Our first show is scheduled at the end of first semester, and with ongoing district support and fundraising efforts, we hope to continue the after-school program for the second semester, and maybe we'll see Fiddler on the Roof back on stage. This is a wonderful collaboration, but this effort is not a replacement for the vibrant, award-winning programs that taxpayers have funded through levy dollars for many, many, many years. So I ask you to solve this problem, and I ask you to increase the levy amount for 2026 to fund all visual and performing arts at all our schools, not to mention library clerks and all the other things around the district that are suffering because of budget cuts that I know that you're working hard to spread across everyone, and the suffering is apparent. But I thank you for your consideration. I know that you have received the invitation to our fundraiser Thursday night. I hope you come and learn more about what we're trying to do to solve the problem of no choir. Thank you.
Is there anyone else present in the boardroom who would like to offer public comments? Mr. Garrett, do we have anyone online? Thank you. Next, we will go on to our item number 8 on the agenda, which is the consent agenda. This evening, it consists of personnel, warrants, resolution number 1059, approval of parent-teacher conference days waiver for the 2025-2026 school year, approval of amendment to the City of Pasco interlocal agreement impact fees, Orion High School project construction change order number 9, out-of-state and overnight student travel for Chiawana High School Gear Up Students to College and Career Access, overnight student travel for Chiawana High School Gear Up Students to College and Career Access, overnight student travel migrant program to Seattle, Washington, overnight student travel for Pasco High School girls basketball team to Spokane, Washington, overnight student travel for New Horizons FFA students to attend Washington State District 5 FFA convention in Wenatchee, Washington. Overnight student travel, that's District 4 FFA convention in Wenatchee, Washington. Overnight student travel for Pasco High School cheer team to leadership camp in Randall, Washington. Out-of-state and overnight student travel for Pasco High School wrestling team to Kalispell, Montana. Overnight student travel for Chiawana High School Gear Up students to Gear Up Nature Bridge Week summer camp at Nature Bridge Retreat Center in Port Angeles, Washington. Out-of-state and overnight student travel for Pasco High School boys basketball team to Portland, Oregon. Overnight student travel for Chiawana High School yearbook students to Spokane, Washington. Overnight student travel for Sageview High School leadership students to Mission Creek Camp in Cheney, Washington. Out-of-state and overnight student travel for Chiawana High School MISA program to San Diego, California. Sageview High School project construction change order 020. I would entertain a motion.
For President Brown, I move that the board approves the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Richardson, may we have a roll call vote, please? Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Motion passes unanimously. The next item on our agenda is our public hearing of our 2024-2025 budget extension. And with that, we have a budget hearing. I'm going to ask Dr. Castilleja to go ahead and start that off. And Mr. Castilleja, if you could, I imagine in your presentation you have a cue for me to begin my script, so I will wait for your cue.
Oh, it's already there, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Still learning your computers in Pasco. So. Board President Brown and Superintendent Whitney and Board of Directors, happy to stand in front of you. As the last time as a guest to the district, on the 1st, I will officially be one of you. So thanks for having me this year to help you with some of this work. So you'll hear from me twice tonight. The first piece is our budget extension hearing. So we've been talking about this for quite a while, so there shouldn't be anything new in here, but please feel free to ask the questions as we get to the end, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion there. So. The budget extension hearing, the idea behind this is for us to kind of lay the whole picture out. We advertised for this, so the community has known for the last 2 weeks that there is a public hearing, and you will be asked to take action if you so choose on a resolution to do this. So the purpose tonight is to obtain board approval of an increase in the district's total budget spending authority in the 24-25 budget. So due to a decline in some of the revenues, a slowing of enrollment growth, and an increase in materials, supplies, and operating costs, the Pasco School District is projected to spend beyond the appropriation authority, ending in a deficit at the close of the 24-25 budget. At the board's direction, the district sets a budget each year that maintains a minimum fund balance. This fund balance ensures financial strength from one school year to the next. At this time, we recommend utilizing a portion of the fund balance to balance our budget while implementing a strategy to get back on track financially. So, the strategy. The district staff team has proposed a strategy to reset our financial situation. So here's an overview. So a little bit of background, our fund balance looks like this. We have kind of two pieces to our fund balance. In the blue, the big part, that's the board mandated 5% of budgeted revenues. It's in the $16.5 million range. And then we have in the green our designated assignments. So what we're proposing tonight is that we shift some of the unrestricted piece, the blue, 8.3 million to the general fund to cover expenditures. So it will look a little more like this as we close the year out. This is that one slide I keep bringing up, and every time I put it up there, I say, if I only showed you one, this is the one. So this is our illustration or estimate, if you will, that illustrates how we plan to get through this. There are a lot of different approaches that we looked at. I would say that this keeps in mind the people of our district, the students, staff, and then our local community and economy as well. So this is a tempered approach that I think that everyone's on board with, but I want to explain it real quick. So currently we maintain a 5% board mandated reserve of revenue and carry 7.8 of a designated fund from year to year. This strategy illustrates reducing the board mandated reserve of revenue to 2.5% for 3 budget cycles while reducing staffing expenses by $4 to $5 million each year through attrition. By doing that, we get to avoid any kind of layoff or anything like that. Each year, we will assess our progress and external economic factors to determine when we are ready to balance a budget with a 5% board mandated reserve of revenue. So this is the example below that kind of shows what that looks like from year to year. The goal really is to get through this, and then hopefully we'll be standing here saying we recommend going higher than 5. So I know that we're really all on the same page with that idea. So the strategy, the budget extension resolution 1058, which is being presented to you tonight, executes the first step of that strategy, which is to allow us to spend into the fund balance this school year. So what that means, and this is all in the resolution, but these are the high points. Currently, our budget this time last year, we had approved a total expenditures of $331 million. And what we're looking to do with this action is to revise that budget to $339.3 million. That's a change of about $8.3 million. The budget extension process looks like this. It's actually kind of legal for us to state these things here. The district staff has prepared the proper paperwork, and the ESD has reviewed this information and provided any feedback. We advertised tonight's public hearing to allow the public to hear this information, and they should have an opportunity to comment at some point after. And should the board approve tonight's resolution 1058, the ESD will forward our application to OSPI for final approval. And that is really the fastest version of a conversation we've been having for several months. So I would like to open that up to the board for any questions or discussion.
Questions or discussion from anyone on the board? Okay, Mr. Castilleja, it appears there is no questions or discussion. We move forward with our hearing then?
Yes.
Okay. I will now open the public hearing on the 2024-2025 budget extension hearing. This hearing is an opportunity for any person to appear in person as well as virtually and be heard either for or against the budget or any part thereof. For those community members wishing to comment on the budget during this public hearing remotely, they will need to raise their digital hand. After raising their hand, the meeting host will unmute them and allow them to speak. So as we did with our audience comments, we will start with anyone present in the boardroom. Are there any comments from the public regarding our budget extension hearing this evening who would like to address the board in the hearing? Mr. Garrett, do we have anyone online who would like to comment on our budget hearing this evening? Thank you. Seeing that there are no individuals wishing to comment, I will now close the 2024-2025 budget extension hearing. If there are no comments from the board, then I would entertain a motion to extend our budget. I have
Board President Brown, I move to approve resolution number 1058 as presented for increasing the district's total spending authority for the 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution number 1058, which increases the 2024-2025 general fund appropriations by $8,306,715 from $331,078,950 to $339,385,665, and it has been seconded. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Richardson, may we have a roll call vote on the budget extension, please?
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy?
Aye.
Dr. Norberg?
Yes.
Mr. Simmons?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you to the public and to the board for participating in this budget extension hearing. That concludes that agenda item. And we will now go on to another item which requires action. The election of our legislative representative, which our policy states happens in June for the legislative year of July through the following year of June. Is there any board discussion before I call for nominations?
Yes, I'd like some clarification. In the document that was been provided, they basically crossed out the president and vice president for this year, and it didn't make any sense to me. I assume that we're going to have those elections come January.
So by board policy, board officers are elected immediately following the election, when the public election of board officers, so that's in November. The ledge representative, for whatever reason, by board policy, is elected in June. So I'm not sure why your policies handle those two sets of positions differently, but they do. So you have some decisions to make tonight around what you want to do about that. You don't have a full board here tonight, so it would be well within your rights as a board to table this item until you had a full board. I mean, there's a lot of options, but the policy does handle board officer elections differently than election of your legislative representative.
But I'm still confused about why the president and vice president was crossed off on the board election for this year.
I believe in the board packet, all the verbiage was crossed out except for the ledge rep, and I believe that was to draw the attention towards just that position. That was my understanding in reading it, although no one from the district communicated that to me. Do we have anyone who present who contributed in the compilation of the board packet that can speak to that?
This is the. I don't know, Jenny, I don't know where this document came from. Yeah, so it's just exactly what Amanda said, is this is, every year when we do elections, it is the backup that goes in, and what we're focusing on, what we're not focusing on is crossed out, and what you're focusing on is available for you to take a look at. And it specifically gives you the language around legislative representative, when their term starts and when it ends. It's typically a 2-year term from July 1st to June 30th, which means its current ledge rep term is expiring at the end of this month, which means this is the last meeting that you can elect a new one. The document is meant to be supportive to the board. If that's not the case, we can always do something different in the future.
It was just confusing, I think, is what.
We're not changing policy, and there's no motion on the floor to change this policy and to eliminate this language. It was simply for ease of reading to understand that we are only addressing the legislative representative position this evening in accordance with policy, which states that we elect the legislative representative in June. The offices of president and vice president will continue with their regular election terms, which will happen after elections this November.
Which I actually stand corrected. The elections would take place after the public election is, what do they call it? Not ratified, but reconciled or certified. So it's actually the first meeting in December is when we do the onboarding of new members. We do the, what do you call it? The swearing in. I'm a mess tonight. The swearing in, and then we do board reorg, which includes electing new officers. That happens in December.
I just wanted that clarification.
Absolutely. Is there any further discussion before I call for nominations? Or any concerns about not having a full board here this evening?
Well, I would prefer to have a full board, but it's not essential for me.
Are you prepared to make a motion?
I move that we table the election until we have a full board.
I'll second that.
There is a motion and a second to table our legislative representative election until we have a full board present. Is there any discussion? Ms. Richardson, may we have a roll call vote on this motion, please?
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy?
Aye.
Dr. Norberg?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. With that motion passing unanimously, we will hold our legislative representative election when we have a full board present. Thank you very much. That takes us to our reports portion of the evening, and we have a report that I always look forward to, and especially look forward to this year since I have a very personal stake in this report as my son graduated, my oldest. The class of 2025 graduation report, Assistant Superintendent Goebel.
Board President Brown, members of the board, and Superintendent Whitney, and our student reps, I feel like this is kind of a symbolic night that I get to do this in the last board meeting of the school year, but also your last board meeting. So it's an opportunity to really thank every educator in our system for really being the village where we had the honor and privilege to really walk alongside these graduates. So for our report tonight, I decided to mix it up a little bit. That is grounded in this shared vision that you have heard multiple times through presentations by high school principals, as well as a couple of board study sessions ago, our students talked about that idea about one team, one dream. So this motto has really taken root among our staff and our students across really all 6 high schools, 2 new ones to join, that it has become more than a slogan, that it is really a mindset that really emphasizes unity, shared responsibility, and collective success. So this evening, with that spirit, I decided to do a presentation that is not broken down by school, but as a whole Pasco School District, a unified story of the graduation. And it was really exciting to start with this graphic. This graphic, the journey of a graduate, that really will become a foundational visual in our district's work moving forward, but it really reflects our collective promise to every student from early learning through graduation that we are intentional about the experiences, skills, and support system that they need to thrive. It reminds us that every adult in Pasco School District plays a role in shaping this journey, and that our goal is not pocketed excellence, but guaranteed equitable experiences for every learner in every step of the way, no matter what school that they attend. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be the numbers game. So for a moment of fun and reflection, let's take a look at class of 2025 through the lens of numbers. 2007. the year most of the class of 2025 was born. I know some of you, if you're 18, you were born in 2007. Some of you were born in 2006, maybe 2008, but that's the majority. So 2007 is when, at a time that feels both recent and distant. For your parents, probably it was a blink of an eye, but those of you at 18 years may seem long. Did you know this number was the average single-family house price in 2007 when the graduates born? If you know what the highest home price is, not even close. I actually did a little bit of, feeling the rabbit trail, looked at things like egg prices and milk prices, gallon of milk back then. It was nothing like what we got going on right now. So in 2007, did you know that social media was still in its infancy? That the first iPhone had just been invented in 2007, the year you were born. So while the graduates were still learning to walk, the world was shifting around all around them. But the most important thing that happened in the year 2007 or 2006 to 8 is that you were born. It was the most significant event that had happened that year. Some other numbers, 207. That signifies that we had 207 students earn the Washington State Seal of Biliteracy. This distinction is awarded to graduates who demonstrate proficiency in English and at least one additional language, an extraordinary accomplishment that reflects not only linguistic skills, but also cultural awareness and academic rigor. These students represent the richness of our multilingual community and the value we place on language as bridge, not as a barrier. 1,322. Students graduated on time this year across Pasco School District. The number that equates to 1,322 unique stories of 13 years of hard work, relationships, and determination. 177. This number indicates the number of graduates who actually graduated with earned their Associate of Arts degree while simultaneously getting their high school diplomas. To put this into the perspective, the average tuition for two-year AA degree in Washington State is approximately $7,500 in 2 years. That means that our students and families saved an estimate of $1.3 million in college tuition, an extraordinary return on investment, and a testament to our commitment to equitable access and acceleration. 1,662 college credits were earned through college in the high school programs at Pasco School District while they were still staying on high school campuses. And I didn't even try to do the math and the value on this one. I'm sure it's something like gazillion dollars that you guys saved. I'm pretty sure. ChatGPT could have helped, but I think that's a lot of credits. Next number, $6.5 million plus. Perhaps one of the most inspiring figures is that we can share tonight is this. The class of 2025 earned a collective of over $6.5 million in scholarships. These scholarships will open doors to college, universities, programs, and career pathways. They affirm that our students are not only ready for what comes next, but they are being recognized and invested in by institutions and organizations beyond Pasco. So I will break it down a little bit. So these are the number of graduates who we got to witness just a few weeks ago. I do want to point out that last year we had 73 graduates from New Horizons, so that was a huge improvement with their outstanding efforts to really get the graduation rate up. So this is broken down that 1,322 divided into 4 high schools. Some other notable achievements that I want to point out is that we have 12 graduates who enlisted in military service. We actually had 100% of New Horizons High School seniors who completed FAFSA. It's the first time that they've done that. Another notable achievement for this class is 28 of Pasco High School students received the Washington State Opportunity Scholarship That is the highest number in the high schools in the state of Washington, ranked number 1 in it. What that means is that Washington State Opportunity Scholarship supports low and middle income students pursuing eligible high demand majors in science, technology, engineering, so STEM, and math, or healthcare, and encourages recipients to work in Washington State once they complete their degrees. So each student received $22,000 in scholarships, and we had the highest number, 28 Pasco High students actually received that. So that's a little bit of numbers game for graduating class of 2025. And here are some pictures to celebrate some of our Chiawana High School students, our Delta students, and New Horizons High School students, and Pasco High students. So I want to wrap up tonight's presentation to really honor the class of 2025, really embodies our district's commitment to equity, excellence, and opportunity. From scholarships to service, dual language degrees to statewide recognition, their achievements reflect the strength in our One Team, One Dream vision. But I just want to congratulate those 3 of you that I actually, I prefer to have lunch, no offense to board members, have dinner with them in that corner. Every time dinner that I always sat with them because they were so delightful to be able to carry on everything, sharing pet pictures too. So you will be dearly missed. And it always filled my heart to have your voice be amplified. So congratulations to 3 of you. But congratulations to a class of 2025. Any questions or comments from the board?
I just have I have a comment and a question. So as someone who teaches at the college level for the last, 12 years now, I'm just floored by the number of associate arts degrees, and even more floored by the number of college credits that our students have accumulated this academic year. I can't tell you how much of a benefit the Running Start program is, the college and the high school program is, the ability for our students while they are still in high school to get a huge chunk of their BA or BS or bachelor's degree requirements done before they even start their post-secondary career outside of the high school, outside of the district. The money that is saved is amazing, and I wish I come from a state which does not and did not have these programs, and I wish my native state did, and I'm grateful that Washington State does. It's a huge benefit to our students. I'm curious, Superintendent Goebel, do we collect the number of students who go into the trades apprenticeship programs?
We usually do senior exit surveys. Postgraduate kind of data is harder to collect, but there's a clearinghouse that we can collect some data from what happens after they graduate. And there's a persistence rate we can look at, so I can gather some data about what happens.
How many go into apprenticeship programs, if any?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I have a question on what percent of the high school seniors graduated on time? What percent overall?
I will be able to give that report. I usually do a next fall because we're still finalizing on the graduation report, but we also have a summer graduation. So on-time graduation, I can share that data with you.
Okay.
But we make sure that it's actually a kind of final data next fall.
Okay. I'm just interested in it.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Goebel. As always, that's an amazing presentation, and so great to see the accomplishments of our students. Assistant Superintendent Cital, te toca.
Gracias. Board President Brown, Superintendent Whitney, and members of the board, I'm here to provide an update on construction projects. But before I start, I want to say, as a former principal to the student board members, I want to say thank you. As a former building principal, I used to get in front of the world and says, this is what we are. Look at our students. This is who we represent. Thank you for representing us and showing the world what Pasco School District produces. So thank you. Thank you for taking that role seriously, and thank you for what you do and how you do it. And we've all been in meetings and seen how you walk, talk to legislator, senators, whoever it was, and representing Pasco. So thank you for who we represent and representing your student body. So congratulations. Now, the reason I'm here. So we're excited to share that Sageview is now on its 102nd week of a 108-week construction schedule. The project is 96% complete and remains on schedule and within budget for completion by August 4th, 2025. Sageview High School is in the final stretch of its construction timeline. Punchline work is scheduled from July 1st through July 31st, ensuring final details are addressed. Furniture delivery and installation will take place between July 15th and July 31st. The project is expected to reach completion by August 4th, with building occupancy set for August 5th. We are anticipating teacher moves beginning August 5th. A formal ribbon cutting ceremony is planned for August 18th to celebrate the school's opening. This is the latest drone footage of the aerial view of Sageview High School. Sit back and relax and watch the greatness. Orion High School is now in its 65th week of a 71-week construction schedule. We are happy to report that the project is 93% complete and remains on schedule and within budget for completion by August 5th, 2025. The Orion High School construction project is approaching its final phase. Punch list work is scheduled for July 1st through July 31st, with furniture delivery and installation taking place between July 21st and July 31st. The estimated completion date is August 5th. Building occupancy is set for August 8th. We anticipate teacher moves to begin August 8th. The ribbon cutting ceremony will be held on August 19th to celebrate the school's opening. This is the recent drone footage offering an aerial view of Orion High School construction site. The operations team continues to work on the 2023 bond projects. Construction for the CET enhancement and modernization project at Chihuahua and Pasco High is set to begin in the spring of 2026, with completion anticipated in August of 27. Upgrades will include improvements to the Chihuahua STEM and agricultural science labs and enhancements to Pasco High School's trade programs, along with its food and nutrition classrooms. Design West Architecture has been selected as the architecture and engineering team for this project. Staff input meetings are scheduled from September 2025 through January of 2026. Bids for the construction contract will open January of 2026. Softball field construction at Pasco High School is slated to begin spring of 2026 and completed in February of 2027. The operations team continues to work on additional projects throughout the district. Over the past 4 and 5 years, the district has completed roof replacements at several schools, including Chihuahua High School, Livingston, McLaughlin, Maya Angelou, Ochoa, Markham, Pasco High, and Captain Gray. The final roofing project is now underway at McGee Elementary, with construction scheduled to begin the first week of July and expected to be completed by August 15th. Once finished, all planned school building roofs replacements across the district will be complete. In February of 2025, the Pasco School District received approximately $2 million in grant funding from the Washington State Department of Commerce to support energy-efficient efforts, including heat pump replacement at Pasco High School and elementary and middle school energy audits. The heat pump replacement projects at Pasco High School was awarded to Apex Mechanical, with work beginning in August and expected to complete by December 2025. Energy audits will conclude by January 1st, 2025. The operation team will receive the final report and guide next steps to meet House Bill 1257 Clean Building Standard. This will include energy-efficient recommendations for all buildings over 50,000 square feet, which includes McLaughlin Middle School. Key highlights. The operation team is pleased to report that everything remains on track and progressing according to schedule. We are meeting our budgetary goals and staying aligned with projected costs. The operation team remains confident in the direction and outcomes with strong oversight, ensuring each phase stays on track. We're fully equipped and committed to deliver quality results. This concludes our bond and construction updates. Any questions?
Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Cital. Are there any comments or questions from the board?
I just want to commend the efforts that you guys have done. I just think during the time of inflation that we were going through, to be on budget and on time, it just an excellent, excellent job. I just commend your whole team. I just, and we live in a time where things rarely keep on budget and on time. And to have all this done on time, I just commend you and your team. Thank you.
Yeah, to echo Director Norberg's comments, Assistant Superintendent Cital, you've done a phenomenal job, you and your staff. I mean, when I toured Sageview in May, and there was still a lot of construction done, I was just impressed by how it looked at that time and how quickly we have built that school and the property around it. And I'm just so looking forward to seeing the opening in August. I think these schools, both Orion and Sageview, are a great achievement. It's a commitment of our community members for investing in the future of our students and the future of our community. They did that by passing the bond. They said yes to Pasco's future by voting yes. And this district has, with the leadership of Superintendent Whitney and yourself and other members of the team here, have done a really great job in being a responsible manager of that investment and ensuring that we have top-notch facilities for our students that will open in a timely manner so that they can enjoy those facilities and learn. So this is a great achievement for the community and for the district.
Superintendent Cital, I just want to echo my board members' comments there. Thank you for your team and the hard work and dedication that they've put forth and the professionalism. As I've toured these schools and these facilities, I've been met warmly and been able to see these facilities, and I think the community is going to benefit greatly from them, and I think they're going to be a great asset to the community, and also just they're wonderful to see in our community, and I hope the community is able to enjoy them, and I think they're going to add a lot of benefit through presentations and things and events that can be held at these facilities. They're beautiful, and I hope that we take advantage of them, and thank you for the hard work and dedication. Also, those that have worked on those projects, they also deserve to be congratulated for their hard work and the talents that they've put forth to create these wonderful buildings.
Comments from our student board reps?
The only thing I could really think of is that both those buildings are looking very beautiful, and I really wish that I would have been able to be in one of those.
Before we move on, Raul has two teammates here tonight, John Weatherby and Eli Garza. If you could both stand so you can be recognized, I would appreciate it. Can we clap for them? I can also see right behind Carla Mativia is Raul's executive assistant, who also is a tremendous member of the team. So just congratulations to all of you.
Mr. Cital, before you sit down, I just want to say that as a board member, it's rewarding to see this process from the planning of the bond. At the time that the bond was being planned, I was attending board meetings as a prospective school board candidate, and then was elected right before we sent the bond out on the ballot, and then was able to see that bond passed as the only bond that passed in the state of Washington that year, and then to have watched these plans form from the architectural models to looking at what has actually happened in those 3 years. it's so rewarding for me as a board member, and so I can't imagine the pride that you must feel in having seen these projects from even before my experience started here with the board to completion. So I commend you for your efforts and your team. Thank you for the hard work that you have put in to making sure that our students have good facilities to attend school in, and for these projects, and then as Orion as well as that's been able to get finished on time, even though like we had to relocate because it was on top of a pile of ash that came from an ancient volcano, and so just the different things that go on because of during construction that a lot of people don't see that are happening behind the scenes that you're managing. And so thank you for your work. Thank you to your team. Thank you to everyone in the district who has made this idea and dream a reality.
Thank you.
We have one more report this evening from Dr. Castilleja, the 2025-2026 budget planning report.
Well, budgets are not quite as exciting as new high schools, but I'm going to sure try and entertain you tonight. So thank you for having me tonight. Let's find my presentation here. Here we are. Good. All right. Once again, thank you for having me tonight. I hope that there isn't anything that's going to be very surprising to you, because we've been talking about this for several months now, but it is kind of the opportunity. I was sort of excited about this because it's all kind of coming together. We have the team assembled, we have all the tasks in place, and we're making it go. And that's kind of the thing in the fiscal department. I've been reminding them every morning, you're the make it go team, and so here we are. So tonight I'm going to give you an update on the status of the 25-26 budget planning process and let you know what that timeline looks like. So there are different roles in budgets, and I always like to remind us this time of year what the roles are. One of the roles is the budget itself. The budget is, they like to say it's just a budget. So we set the budget and then we do our best to follow it. And it functions to keep us legal and compliant. The biggest piece is the board sets the spending authority. And as you did tonight earlier, you actually changed that. So that budget is a very serious document to us. We try and follow it. It also serves as the banks of the stream, so to speak, when it comes to spending. That's what we call the internal controls. And it's also our financial plan. It reflects our values and priorities and just how we are strategizing ourselves through the good times and the not so great times financially. The board has a role. This is one of your keystone roles as a school board, setting the budget. So you guys approve the expenditure authority for all 5 funds, and I'll go through what those funds are. And you have other financial instruments that you are a part of. The 2 big ones that we talk about often are the levies and bonds. The 5 designated funds that we have, most districts have these, and I'll just give you an overview. It's the general fund is the big one. That's our biggest chunk of money. It's how we make the district go, both fiscally, or both with personnel and our MSOCs. We have the Capital Projects Fund, which you just heard all about that. You just built some high schools with the Capital Projects Fund, and you set that budget as well. The Debt Service Fund, when we go out for a bond, we then owe that money back. It's kind of like a school version of a mortgage, and we have a debt service fund that you direct so that we have authority to pay those back over many years. The Associated Student Body Fund, that's the ASB money that's fundraised by students and directed by students, and at the end of the day, we maintain to ensure that those funds are used within compliance, and you approve those as well. And last but not least, we have what I like to call the Yellow Bus Fund. We have a transportation vehicle fund, and the way that works is money comes in through depreciation over the years on our school buses, which is really cool because when the buses get too old, we then have the money in that fund when you direct us to do so to buy a new bus. So we have nice, safe buses. So that's what the budget, those are the big pieces to the budget. The district staff has a role in this also. District staff executes building a balanced budget based on past performance, future needs and legislation, and in accordance with the direction of the board. We're constantly gauging the spirit of the board and the will of the board as we do this. And and sometimes it's directly and sometimes it's indirectly. We just pay very close attention to make sure that we build our financial tools around what you want for our district. There are a few assumptions that I want to just kind of put out there that we've been sensing over the last few months. And you will see those things reflected in the full budget that we will present in July. As the study sessions and meeting, Pasco School District budget is in a deficit. We've hit that head on and are being very honest and transparent about that. So as directed by the board in the 25-26 budget, we will build that around a board mandated reserve of 2.5 of our revenues, as opposed to what we normally do, which is a 5%. This approach supports a path to a balanced budget through attrition versus layoffs or a reduction in force, which was also something that we learned by listening to the board, that was important to you. Their assumptions are all efficiencies possible are being realized and to reduce spending. Wherever we can reduce spending and it makes sense, we're doing that. Budgets are being set to cover areas that have outpaced budget allocations or have been under budgeted. Enrollment is not growing as it has in the past, therefore a more conservative enrollment projection approach will be utilized in the 25-26 budget. So those are the assumptions that we're working off of. The process has some steps, and I like to break these things, the budgeting process, into the big four parts. Enrollment, we have to project as accurately as possible how many students will walk into our doors in the fall, and how many will stay from month to month throughout the school year. That number then drives the revenues that we will receive, which isn't just the state apportionment, but also our levy equalization, grants, things of that nature. So we untangle that piece, which then drives how many staff are funded. So then we are able to project how many staff will be budgeted for. And then last but not least, the expenditures, the costs of operating the district, materials, operation costs, utilities, things of that nature. So the task that the district staff does on your behalf, sensing your wants and desires in the process, is to untangle these things to formulate a balanced budget. The timeline, I want to make sure I lay this out for you because it's a little bit different than it has been in the past. We're a little bit behind what we normally would have been, and that's kind of because we've been untangling things and we've been talking about a budget extension, but we're still well within the timelines that's required in order to have a approved budget. Last month, you'll remember we had budget presentation number 1. That was a discussion that was mostly around enrollment. If you just remember one thing from that, I'm hoping that you remember that enrollment makes it go. Based off of how many we think we will have in our classrooms, that's how the state decides how much money we will have to operate on. Tonight, we are talking about the budgeting strategies. And then in July on July 22nd, we are actually very intentionally going to present the entire budget to you in its recommended form, one board meeting ahead of having a hearing about it. So that we have ample time to ask questions and think about that budget. So we will present that to you soon, next month. As soon as that board meeting is over, we will advertise, as by law, a public hearing for the adoption of that budget. That's 2 weeks long. And then August 12th is the big day. We will hold a hearing and adoption of the 25-26 budget. If something were to not go right in that, which I don't anticipate you having any problems with that, our drop dead date to be able to adopt a budget and be within law is August 27th. For a district of our size, we're considered a first-class district. I don't like how they call them first class and second class, but we're a big one, so we have until the end of August to get that in. So the budget team, I want to kind of shed some light on what it looks like to make this go for you. The budget team has a lot of moving parts. You have those big four, and we've sort of assembled a team around those 4 areas so that we can bring it all together. Those big areas, it's kind of an all hands on deck. We have people who are on multiple teams. I hop around to all of them. There are some people that just see a part of it. So And those teams are the staffing team, projection of enrollment, projection of revenues, and projection of expenditures. The staffing team, a little bit about them. This is a very specific team centered around the Employee Services Department. This team is working within the collective bargaining agreements to set our staffing allocations for the 25-26 school year. This team is really doing its best to reduce staffing numbers as we have staff resign or retire. Every opportunity to not fill a position is taken when an opening has a specific need or no one from within our team can fill those positions. A team-based recommendation is made to post those positions for hire. This approach is a tremendous help in helping our budget challenges be met. So that's the budgeting team. The projecting enrollment team, this team is actually kind of a neat one. It's made up of internal fiscal services staff, administrators, and we have some help from recently retired business managers from nearby districts. I won't name them out right at the moment, but we have a lot of wisdom in the group. And the way that's looked is a number of us have our tools from our past, and we're all tackling it individually, and then we've all come together to see where we overlap, and we're currently kind of wrestling that. What's really should give you some confidence is we all came in really close to each other, so I feel good about where we're going with that. This work is currently in progress. At this time, we are looking at an FTE somewhere in the 17,400 to 17,500 range. And I give a range because we're going to have to kind of back into that because that number is a conservative number. To put it in perspective, we were at 17,650 somewhere in there last year. So that's kind of where the change looks. This looks like a reduction of 100 to 163 over last year. To put that into perspective, just multiply it by 10, 12,000 each, and that's what that means to us. So we'll be getting closer to that number actually within the next week or so. The projecting revenues team has some common members in there, but it's made up of fiscal services staff, some administrators, and some help from some consultant support. This one's a little bit wider because we have lots of grants and things going on, so we have to try and get as accurate as we can with those. This is currently in process. Student enrollment is a big driver in this. However, other factors come into play, such as legal levy equalization, state and federal grants. There's a lot of moving parts there. So we are also going to come pretty close to that one within the next week as well. Projecting expenditures, this is a big one. This one's a heavy lift. This team is, this is a little bit different than we've tackled this in the past, where it really is a lot of people involved. The expenditure projection team is made up of our internal fiscal services analysts, our purchasing manager, which actually has some CPA background, fiscal supervisor is involved, and some administrators. And that's been a pretty exciting team to watch work, and really trying to get ourselves to a point where we have a budget that we know is set, that's realistic to follow, and we can stick to throughout the year. So the staffing team, the enrollment projection team, the revenue projection team, expenditure analysis team, all those parts kind of move in together. The goal is to have that sweet spot of a budget at the end of this. So that's what that looks like. Some special focuses in this cycle. There will be a little redundancy here, but they're really important to me that you know. So I want to make sure we drive these home. They're in full swing. Here are some of the focuses. Setting an efficient yet realistic budget, and I'll explain what that means here in a minute. Budgeting for a conservative enrollment number, and capturing staff attrition. Those are kind of the big three. While we strive for efficiency of spending, we also have to be realistic about what it actually costs to operate schools. We have seen a trend of increases in expenditure in personnel, maintenance, supplies, and operating costs. We all know what that looks like. We buy gas and put it in our cars. We've seen that go. Just put that in everything we do. Everything seems to be costing more than it used to. Our expenditure projection team is currently analyzing each spending category, looking at actual costs over the past 3 years and comparing that outcome to what we budgeted in 24-25. There's a gap there. This gap will then be closed by either specific reductions in that spending or having a calculated increase in that budget. So you are going to see some things increase in budget and some things decrease so that we can live within the means realistically. Setting our enrollment number, this is like beating the dead horse, but I keep saying that is the one thing that makes it go. So while we budget for a specified number of student FTE, we are funded on the actual. So we start the year based off of what we stated, but by January we have an average and the state either catches up to what we really had if we have more than expected, or they pull back on our apportionment to either us or the state's paying each other back. So the attrition piece, staffing costs make up the largest portion of spending in schools. Most districts fall in the 80% of budget range. We are a little bit higher than that, which shouldn't surprise you since we know we're in a deficit. In order to set a balanced budget that serves the needs of our students, we must maintain the right ratio. We know we are staffed higher than other districts, or many other districts, not all, but many other districts that are our size. And our budget shortfall, I'm going to be very honest, that is one of the biggest reasons for the results that we've had in the 24-25 budget. So that's why it's heavy on our minds to get right. Where we are able to not fill positions, we are not. Where we can shift job functions and duties to keep people employed, we are. When a position requires a specific skill or qualification, we are making the intentional decision to fill that role. So there is some hiring going on. But we're having to get creative and really think about the people and the talent that we have. There are no layoffs pending as part of this budgeting process, but we do have some shifts in duties and locations, and we're monitoring this closely, and the hope is through these strategies we will be able to maintain that as our cornerstone in this. So what you can expect from us. Just kind of the summary.
Joy, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt. I know I gave you a heavy lift to be done by 8:30. So.
Yep.
I did want to just highlight on before we leave that slide. Typically, districts' budgets are 80% staffing, and Joey said we're slightly over. We're at 86%. So I appreciate Joey saying it's slightly. 6% is not slightly. So that is why our focus is where it is. So I just wanted to clarify that on that slide before we got too much farther. Thank you, Joey.
Yeah, and I would also say we're not unusual in that. There's a lot of districts in that position right now. We couldn't expect that there was going to be smaller kindergarten classes coming into school systems, things across the state. So we're built for more kids than we're actually getting at the moment. So thank you for that, Superintendent. What to expect in summary? We will reduce some categories of spending, and we will increase some categories of spending. We're going to do that very carefully. Some examples, you'll see about $1 million more added to our utilities. We also will know that we're going to ask questions on how we can save on utilities, and we have to keep in mind that we're adding 2 high schools to our system at the same time, so it's going to cost more. You will see some areas reduced, mostly where we know we can cover those costs either through using categorical funding, the grants and things like that, or where we can find cheaper ways of doing things. For instance, right now, buildings buy their own paper. We're funding paper for 18,000 kids. We probably have some buying power, so we're looking into things of that nature to do things cheaper. The goal is to set a budget that everyone can be expected to abide by. We are going to report our recommended enrollment numbers. I've said this a couple of times, but we're looking in the 17.4 to 17.5 range at this point. And this is just that graphic that you've seen before that explains why the dotted line is the current year. We've now done our last apportionment or our last enrollment report to the state. And you can see where that dotted line just kind of stayed below what we were at the last couple years. So the last couple years, to really kind of put it into perspective, we've seen about a reduction of actual FTE that is used for calculating our funds of about 60. So it's been stair-stepping down thereafter. You can also expect a reduction in administrator, certificated, and classified staffing FTE. That has, well been in place already. You can expect the budget to reflect increases to salaries based on previously approved collective bargaining agreements and personal salary advancement for longevity and college credits. Next year, we're retaining a lot of staff. I don't think we have hardly any administrator turnover. It's pretty awesome. We're very stable. People want to work here. So the reality is they're going to be more experienced and better trained next year, and they'll cost more. So expect that as well. So we will encumber all of those costs into this budget as accurately as possible. So up front, you will see on your budget that we've set aside what we need in order to make payroll go. So how did I do on time? Perfect. Great. So I want to open up to questions to the board.
On slide 32, just making sure, so that reduction in staff is through attrition.
Yes, that is correct. Yep. Good question.
I'm just curious, this is a little bit off the subject, but how are we doing getting new teachers? I mean, the switch to the new high schools, all the personnel to those, how far along are we on that? And how's that going?
The process is, for as complicated as it has been, opening a new high school in an environment where you have an $8 million budget deficit makes it that much more complicated. We're through that process to the point now where we're entertaining things like what got brought up tonight. The librarian positions have been on hold, not necessarily the decision not to fill them, but we needed to make sure that everyone had a spot. So we weren't in the position to have to lay someone off because they don't have the right credential to do the jobs that we had open. So we're now kind of down to the point where it's that granular of decisions that are being made. So the process has been difficult in a lot of ways because we were in the position to have to ask people to take jobs that weren't the perfect job for them to keep people employed. But, Maria Lee, who's not here anymore, she made a comment that she works really hard to be supportive. She's been extraordinarily supportive in a really difficult set of circumstances, and people have been patient. There's, people are excited, and then there's some grieving where teachers have left and certain buildings, and kids are going to miss them, and all of those pieces. But I think all in all, it's, people have handled it with professionalism and grace and a focus on educating all of the youth of Pasco.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I imagine that there still may be some involuntary transfers if someone resigns or decides at this late point in time to retire, and then since we're not, unless there's no one that fills that role with being highly qualified and certificated, then we would hire. But other than that, it would be if there is someone who is qualified, we would transfer them voluntarily first and involuntary. So that process is still continuing as people resign or retire. Is it continuing? Have all the positions been filled as of yet? So we can expect that unless there is an unexpected change, that there will be no more surprises, or how is the process going with the involuntary transfers?
Right. Would you like me to answer that? Or you go
So in a normal year, there will be movement until the very day school starts, and this year is no different than that. We currently, when you ask that question, it's different depending on employee group. We currently have 10 teachers, I think it's 10 teachers, who are actually waiting for placements. So as people retire and jobs open, those people who are waiting for placements will be placed in jobs. If there's not jobs for them, they'll be in a substitute type position. Classified, depending on the group, for example, don't quote me on this, but let's take secretaries. There's exactly the number of secretaries that we need for people to move around and everybody end up in a spot. So it's very different depending on the employee group. And I'm happy to have Alice and or Sarah connect with you, and she can give you the granular detail because it's pretty complicated. But I think kind of an overall kind of summary, I think what I just explained is pretty accurate.
Yeah. It's always good to remember too, our collective bargaining agreements they were written long, long ago, and they outlined the what if this ever happens. And lo and behold, we're in a situation where we have to go back to that language. So that's where you go and you start there and you follow that.
Sarah's actually listening in from Florida tonight, so she just texted and said she'd be happy to jump in if there's questions.
For what I understand, and I have read the emails that are coming in from staff who are affected by this, that this is still very much there's a lot of movement still, and pieces are still in motion. And as you stated there, and as I know from working in districts for 10 years, that their teachers take new assignments in the middle of the summer, and then that opens a position, and then there's movement within buildings. And so I was just wondering if, besides that unknown, if there were still, but I think you answered my question, there are 10 teachers who are waiting for
Yep.
placement. And other than that, we have the placements for next year, except for the unknown.
Yep.
Which might happen.
That would be accurate. Yep. And the same parallel in the classified side. So, yep.
Sarah just indicated that I was quote-unquote spot on, so just so.
That's nice. Good. Okay. Anything else?
Just real quick, so I'm looking at the enrollment numbers, and we can see that there's a trend that, continually less enrollment than expected year over year, it looks like. So could you speak to how we're being conservative with our FTE? Could you speak more to that?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a combination of a lot of things. Some of the data that you guys saw during the study session today, we look at, birth rates and things of that nature. The easiest piece to look at, though, if you just look at, year over year, and it's kind of hard to not go back too far because you had, the pandemic in there and, economies change and whatnot. But over the last 3 years, it's generally been about 60 when you take the average and how it all settles out over the year. There's also some other factors, too, to take into consideration. If we have students that decide to shift into alternative learning environments, the ALEs, they're funded at a different rate. If you have an influx or a decrease of students choosing to go to Running Start, that changes things a little bit. Class loads in CTE, that shifts money from basic ed to CTE dollars. So there's just lots of moving parts. But the idea is that we're trying to come in somewhere in the 100 to 175 student FTE lower than what we are experiencing this year to try and get below it.
One of the factors that's influencing us pretty tremendously is kids graduating early.
Yes.
It's about 275 kids a year. So
if you have kids that finish up second try, we don't get to claim them in third if they don't enroll. So
Is that partly has to do with why we're probably going back to a quarter? Is that totally not related?
not necessarily. The analysis of the trimester versus semester schedule is really through the lens of student achievement, not necessarily through kids finishing early or not.
Yeah.
So does CTE and Running Start actually decrease our income that comes in?
In some ways, yes, but in other ways, it's just different. So this is one example that we're tackling. This is a really good question. On the CTE side, if let's say you add some really popular program, guitar making, I'm a guitar player, so I'll pick that one, and everyone wants to do it. And that class fills up, and we have the capacity to fill it up, and we open up another section of it. Well, all of the time that the kids are in that CTE program is great for CTE. It increases their VOC enrollment, but while they're there, they're not in a basic ed seat. So it would reduce the basic ed side. So it's kind of a balancing act. And really, there's not a right way or a wrong way or, either direction is fine with us. We just want to try and project it correctly so that the budget reflects that so that we can stay within our budget, if that makes sense. So, a lot of times it's not really about overspending, it's about planning to spend the right amount. Running Start's a little bit different. There is a pass-through from the state funds it in a big way. There's some indirects that we take with that, but it does take kids out of the seats in the high school. So if you planned for X number of students, let's say you planned for 1,000 students in a building, round numbers, and you didn't project that 200 of them were going to go to Running Start second trimester, well, now you're staffed for 1,000, but you only have 800 in place. So it's neither here nor there, as long as we try our best to project it correctly and set our staffing up right for the number of kids we'll actually have, set up our indirects and all of those things around Running Start, and we can reimburse the universities the proper way. So it's always great. We love to see CTE just flourish. We want it to grow. But if it's going to grow, we need to plan for that, because we can't have an elective over here with a teacher and then all of a sudden all those kids go to this CTE class, but we still have that teacher. So now we're paying for two when we only are funded on one side of it. So it's just a balancing act.
So probably the more options, the more difficult it is.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. In the perfect world, we'll have, if we're on a 6-period day or a 5-period day, we'll have 5 offerings of the class everyone wants, and the students can just take them all and they don't have to make decisions. But in the real world of schools, you kind of have to figure out what the caseload is, make the schedule work the best for the most. And sometimes students might have to wait until next year to take a class they really want or prioritize. But ultimately, we have to serve students to get them their general requirements so they can meet graduation requirements. So.
Thank you so much for entertaining all of our questions.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
If you have any questions or you want to nerd out on this stuff during the month, just give me a call. We can meet, or you can come into the office, or even a phone call. Happy to do that, and I'm thrilled to be here. So thank you for bringing me on your team.
Yes, we approved your official hire on our consent agenda today. So congratulations and welcome to Pasco School District. We have had the action items of the public hearing and delayed the election of our legislative representative tonight. We heard reports on the 2025 graduation, the construction update on our 2 high schools, and just finished with our 2025-2026 budget planning report. Is there anyone who's present in the boardroom who would like to offer public comment on any of those items? Mr. Garrett, do we have anyone online? Thank you. Next, we go to future agenda items. Superintendent Whitney.
So we are meeting way in the future on July 22nd. So we will be 3 weeks before we meet again. Is that right? We will have a study session that's really focused on you as a board and your governance. You should have, if you haven't already, please complete your board self-assessment, and there'll be time set aside to talk about that. We'll also probably need to talk about things like where the board tends to travel, if you tend to travel next year. So all those things can be kind of a board governance retreat. That's what that's set aside for. During the board meeting, we typically in July the board entertains whether or not you'll be applying for the WASDA Board of Distinction again. We are going to continue the tradition of I'll present a presentation where I introduce you to our new student board reps. We obviously will swear in our new student board reps, and Joey will be presenting a full budget in advance, or presenting as much budget information as available on the 22nd in preparation for using August to get our budget approved.
Thank you. That takes us to communications. Dr. Norberg, would you like to begin?
I just want to encourage everybody that we are in a very honorable profession of having impact in students' lives. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're all about. And, we've come to kind of a new year. We've went through the graduations, and an exciting time to see these students go on. And I think it's this summer we need to take time to reflect and think about things that we can even do better. But, I just think that this is an important work. And I just want to encourage everybody that we are going to go through some challenges with budgets and stuff, but we will get through this, and it's going to be even better. So we've got 2 new high schools, and I think the work there has been excellent. And, all the different classes that we've, Steve and I particularly have been working together and looking at some of the different schools and just visiting them, and it's really been a very interesting and eye-opening thing. And probably the one takeaway that I really have from that is I got robbed. I mean, the options that students have now, I didn't have those options, And so I do think that makes it probably a little harder to get the basics in because they're having so much fun doing everything else. But I just encourage you that these students are learning, and they're learning a lot of different things. And it was just really encouraging to see the diversity of subjects that the students are getting. One of them particularly that I saw was I walked into one of the students' classrooms in a middle school, and they had a 3D printer there in their classroom. And I'm sitting there going, I've never operated a 3D printer. In fact, I don't even think that was probably the first one I've ever seen. And here it is in the middle school. And so, to think these kids get to play with that, get to build things with it, it's something that, I did spend a lot of time in automotive repair and VOAG when I went through high school, but those were probably the two main options that were really there out there in a rural school. And I took advantage of them, but kids these days have a lot more different options and a lot of other things that they do. And I think it's awesome. I think we've got to try to prepare them for their future. And that, is totally different than the future that I saw. So anyway, I just say, we're doing good work. We just need to keep it up and keep improving.
I think the comments of Director Norberg just underscores why Pasco is the #1 school district in the state. So, thanks for highlighting. I just want to wish everyone a safe and happy 4th of July holiday next Friday.
I want to, again, thank all of you for giving me the time to be on this dais and be able to, I like that word, dais, be able to learn and grow on the board and hear all of your guys' opinions, whether or not they are interesting, and specifically, thank you to Michelle. Thank you to Michelle for, being as great of a superintendent as you are. Thank you.
Agreed with that statement, but I also want to extend my thanks to the board and then being able to spend time with Michelle, and then shout out to Mr. Levitt and Mrs. Forsyth for babysitting us when we were in Spokane, because they low-key put up with the three of us, and they're really fun, and I really hope that the incoming board reps do get to enjoy being on board as much as I personally did. And I also want to say that I also feel robbed seeing Sageview and Orion come together, especially Orion, because that would have been my dream school. And I really am excited for the future students of Pasco to be able to experience these kinds of programs and to be able to know that our district really does care about our students. And I would really like for people to remember that at the heart of what we do as a district, from my perspective as a student, as a community member, and as somebody on board, we really are a student-centered district, and we're also a very student-centered community. So I always want to remind people that our district's pretty cool, and it's awesome.
I, again, just want to thank the entire board, staff, everyone I worked with. I feel like it was just a couple weeks ago when I was up here for the first time, pretty terrified to speak into this microphone. This is an experience that I'll cherish for a really long time in my life. I'm super thankful that I was able to learn a bunch of lessons that I did and spend time with the people on this board.
So there's really nothing more I can say. This has all been great. And you guys, I do like sharing the dais with all three of you. So just real quick to put another shout out to these three individuals right here. Owen, I'll put Owen on the spot real quick. I was able to attend his graduation party, and his parents came up to me, and I kind of know Owen's family a little bit because I used to work over at Bergstrom Aircraft, and his dad and mom said something really interesting. They're like, we're really proud of the board and what they put forth and what they hold value to, and that's students and their achievements and student focus, like Danica said. And I was very appreciative of that, not because of what I do up here, but because as a board, what we do, and for the teachers and the staff and the administration and the parents in this district. I think I just personally wouldn't want to be in another district. I'm glad I'm raising my kids here in this town, this community. Owen, thanks for sitting here and sharing interesting comments back and forth with me. I'm going to miss it. It's been great. I've appreciated your comments as we've gone through this year in the different meetings. Danica, thanks for being a leader. You are a leader, and you've carried, I don't want to say you've carried these other two, but you have been at the forefront of them. And Mason, I don't know, man, you're just a stud, man. Your comments are awesome in the meetings, and they're very well played out and well thought out, and have made me think a lot about a lot of things. So I think Director Norberg was right. I think we're in a good district, and we just need to keep working hard, and we'll get through the difficult times.
Mason, may the three of you be many more dioceses in the future. The plural. That will be our fun study this evening. We will report back in 4 weeks on what the plural of diocese is. 13 years ago, I took my son to his kindergarten orientation, and his kindergarten teacher handed me and him a folder that said, Class of 2025. And it felt so long ago, but also so, it just, I just couldn't even fathom the idea of my son graduating, and he did it 2 weeks ago. After finding so much academic success here in Pasco School District, and for the first time in his entire academic career, found a sense of belonging and found a pathway in life. And I am so grateful for that. Thank you. He's off to college and to pursue his career in welding, which he discovered in the CTE programs here at Pasco High and in Tri-Tech. And I am so grateful for a school district that cultivated that sense of belonging, and for the K through 12 public education system that although he was a extraordinary and a student who learned with different kinds of learning, he was very kinesthetic and very much needed to have things to do and things to keep him occupied, and lived in a principal's office. He knew Dr. Bob Smart, who came here to work in Pasco on a first name basis practically, because he spent his entire elementary career almost in the office. And so to have him come to high school here and then graduate with honors on the dean's list is such an amazing experience for me as a mom, to be able to hand him his diploma. I'm just so proud to be part of this district.
I'm not commenting tonight. There's been enough crying. I'm just crying.
Okay. We have no executive session tonight, and so with that,